Ukrainian forces keep pushing back the Russian army, destroying its troops' weapons and equipment on every front. According to Ukraine's general staff, more than 1 million Russian soldiers have been eliminated since the full-scale invasion began in February 2022. Thousands of tanks, armored vehicles and artillery systems have also been destroyed. Ukrainian air defenses continue to shoot down Russian aircraft, missiles and drones almost every day. Defense Express reports that Ukraine recently struck Russia's Rosneft oil terminal in Tuapse. Britain is preparing to start producing Ukrainian-designed anti-aircraft drones, another sign that Ukraine's defense industry keeps growing even under fire. President Donald Trump is once again making headlines with a series of bold comments about the war in Ukraine, dictator Putin and America's nuclear power. The president said he is not considering sending long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, at least not for now, arguing that sometimes wars have to burn themselves out. He added that Washington shouldn't get too deeply involved in every conflict and that Europe should take the lead on issues like Russia's frozen assets. When asked what about convincing him that dictator Putin isn't ready to end the war, Trump replied that there is no final straw for him, no point at which he'd completely give up on trying to make a deal. He emphasized the scale of human loss on both sides and spoke as if he sees the conflict as something that eventually needs to exhaust itself rather than be forced to an end. The president also turned to America's nuclear might, saying that the United States has more than enough firepower to destroy the world many times over, far more than any other countries. He argued that Russia and China are testing and modernizing their arsenals and that the US shouldn't be left behind, even hinting at reviving nuclear testing programs. The remarks have caused unease among America's allies who fear this softened tone toward Moscow and talk of a new nuclear test could signal a shift in Washington's direction. Analysts warn that such language coming from the world's most powerful leader might embolden Russia and spark fresh tensions in an already unstable world.
There's no final straw. Sometimes you have to let it fight out. They're fighting it out. And it's been a tough war for Putin. He's lost a lot of soldiers, maybe 1 million. That's a lot of soldiers. And it's been tough for Ukraine. It's been tough with both. Sometimes you have to let it, just get caught out. I've settled 8 wars. I thought that one would be easier than some of the ones we settled.
Support for Democrats in the United States is growing sharply, and it's largely because of the President Donald Trump's actions. According to a new NBC poll, many Americans believe Trump has failed to deliver on key promises that helped him return to the White House in 2022. His overall approval rating has dropped to 43%, 4 points lower than in March, while 55% say they disapprove of his performance. 2/3 of voters think the Trump administration has not improved the economy or the cost of living. Many also say he hasn't changed the way Washington works. With the government shutdown still dragging on, Democrats now lead Republicans by 8 points in the race for Congress, their biggest advantage since the 2018 midterms. The survey also shows that most voters believe Trump has done more to undermine the U.S. Constitution than to protect it. At the same time, the White House continues to push a tough immigration agenda and new executive actions across key policy areas, issues that are dividing the country and reshaping the political landscape ahead of the next year's midterm elections. In eastern Ukraine, the battle for the city of Pokrovsk has entered a critical phase. Ukrainian forces have deployed special operations units to embattled town, which lies on a vital supply route and is considered a getaway to Donetsk. According to military sources, hundreds of Russian troops have penetrated its defenses, and street-by-street combat is underway. In the overnight hours, Russian launched drone and missile strikes across multiple regions, killing 6 civilians, including 2 children, and knocking out power in large areas. The assault shows Russia's push to seize Pokrovsk is intensifying, and Kyiv is rushing reinforcements to hold the city. The outcome matters far beyond the city limits. If Pokrovsk falls, it would be Moscow's largest territorial gain in the Donetsk region in years. Ukrainian commanders say the situation remains difficult and dynamic, stressing they are still in control but facing severe pressure. Russia's war in Ukraine and global terrorism are still being bankrolled by energy money. That was the blunt message from the world's oil leader meeting in Abu Dhabi, where energy, politics, and technology collided. U.S. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum said allies must sell energy to friends, not adversaries, and warned that the AI boom will need far more electricity, meaning far more production. Abu Dhabi National Oil Company chief Sultan Al Jaber insisted the world needs more energy, not less, arguing that aviation and artificial intelligence are driving new demand. At the same time, Qatar's energy minister warned Europe that LNG supplies could stop if the EU keeps strict sustainability rules. And while oil hovers around $65 a barrel, sanctions on Russia's Rosneft and Lukoil tighten the pressure. The summit shows a world torn between clean energy promises and the reality of war, power, and profit.
Our policy is to sell energy to our friends and allies so that they don't have to buy from our adversaries. For too long, and it's happening right now, the Russia and Ukraine war is being funded by energy sales. Terrorism across this region and around the world, funded by energy sales. We need to take this opportunity and grab this moment of peace, grab this point of the transition, the inflection point we're in right now, and bring energy to everyone, bring artificial intelligence to everyone, which will improve all lives, and bring peace to everyone.
Britain has supplied Ukraine with a new batch of Storm Shadow cruise missiles to strengthen its ability to strike targets deep inside Russia. Bloomberg reports, citing sources familiar with the matter, that London improved the transfer to ensure Ukraine remains well armed ahead of winter, when Russia is expected to intensify attacks on civilians. The exact number of missiles has not been disclosed. Storm Shadow is a high-precision air-launched cruise missile with a range of more than 250 kilometers. The UK government does not comment on the total number of Storm Shadow provided since the start of the full-scale invasion and does not publicly announce every delivery. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that the US has lifted the key restrictions on Ukraine's use of certain long-range Western-supplied missiles, allowing Kyiv to expand its strike on Russian territory. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump said he is not currently considering sending Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. That's all for now. Please subscribe for more content.